Hello, welcome back to Up the Villa. This is our match preview. Everton v Aston Villa. The last time Aston Villa will play at Goodison Park. Joined by Justin and Ryan on this episode. How are we both doing?
Wicked, man.
Good.
I thought the best place to start is talking about new manager bounces and just a general look at why are they generally sometimes successful and what goes into sort of a new manager bounce? Because if I look at Everton and look at their current situation, I think defensively, they're pretty good. And obviously creativity-wise, attacking-wise, I know a lot of Evertonians are very disgruntled with Dyche and the way that he's been playing, etc. So a new lease of life with a new manager should be a sort of fresh approach. But Justin, I really want to gauge what goes into a new manager bounce. Like, why do they generally have an upturn in results? We've seen Wolves have a bit of one. Manchester United, not so much at the start. So why do they get this bounce sort of out of nowhere?
I think generally it's because you don't change the manager unless it's going horrifically wrong, do you? So, and I think at that point when it's gone so badly wrong that you think, okay, we've got nothing left to do now to sack the manager, that the new manager comes in and it's almost a breath of fresh air for all of that squad, isn't it? So they're all sort of relieved that they can all start again with a you know, there's obviously been a lot of problems in the camp. You don't know about dressing room harmony. You know, generally towards the end of a manager's tenure, they're trying anything to get things to work, aren't they? So they're just playing players that probably thinking, why is he playing in there? People out of position, just trying anything to try and get a result. Whereas the new manager comes in and all of a sudden it's like, okay, forget everything that's gone on before. Relax. I'm going to, look at all of you and play you all on your merits, and we'll start from scratch. Don't worry about anything that's gone on before, and we'll just crack on. So I think in that respect, it's very they get relieved of all that pressure off them, and I think they can go out and just play to a point. I think the biggest one for me that I can remember, the David Moyes one in Everton is very interesting because he's gone back there and he was a big success. So it's going to be a tough game for us, I feel, this one. It's because of the new manager going in that he was a successful old manager. And the one that he reminds me a lot of was when Graham Taylor came back to Villa. He had a fantastic first spell and we went through a really bad patch and he got brought back in to help us out. And yes, he was never going to replicate that first spell, but I remember being there when he came out that second time, and it was just absolutely amazing. You just felt like, thank God for that. Someone has turned up that can sort this mess out. And I think Everton are going to get that with Moyes. But overall, yeah, new managers coming in. It's a new start for everybody, and I think professional footballers. And I think we saw that to a bit in the West Ham first half, didn't we? They weren't brilliant, but I think they popped the ball around really nicely. They kept the ball really well. Obviously got the goal, which gave them a bit of confidence. And you could see Potter on the sideline, really positive. His energy is really high. It's a new job. Managers that are on the way out, they've had enough, haven't they? They're just like totally done, aren't they? They look 10 years older than they actually are. So I think it's just a breath of fresh air, isn't it, for a lot of managers? And then after sort of 5, 6, 7 games, if it starts to go badly wrong, which we saw a little bit with Almiron now with Man United, although they've had a good result in the FA Cup, that pressure starts to come back, and they come back very quickly, don't they? Everyone remembers about the bad run that they've been on. So it's an interesting phenomenon in football, the new manager bounce. I don't know if any other sport has it, to be honest.
No, and I mean, we've seen off one new manager bounce. We got that one sorted, so we're sort of halfway there. Ryan, my next question then will be, Justin spoke about once you've got a new, what would you say the opposition team need to do when they're playing up against a team with a new manager? How do they become successful in that game?
Just be yourself. Do what you do best, because there's no way to prepare for it. There was no way for us to prepare for West Ham, and there's no real way for us to prepare against Everton. So we've just got to do us. And we've been to Goodison in recent times when Benitez got the sack and Duncan Ferguson come in, and that was really hyped up. A big hype went on for that, because I think he had 4 games or something. and we went there under Steven Gerrard, and we won 1-0, and we went there scoring a header. So we do kind of deal with these new manager bounces. I haven't seen no stats or anything to back that up, but that's just my gut feeling. So for us, I think we go there with a plan to put a stable shape and a tactic together, and we know what Emery can be like in game, and we can adjust. But I think we'll have our basis for Wednesday evening.
Yeah. So next phase of this episode, I'm glad I've got Ryan on. I'm glad I've got Justin on as well. But Ryan, I know you are like huge on the way that we play, and you do a lot of your Twitter threads, etc., that are really insightful. So I really want to talk to you about Aston Villa's build-up and the way in which we utilise possession, because we was at Leicester, and that was probably the one half of football that you could probably write and say that was a bad Emery half of football. But then we also had a bad half of football against West Ham. And I think the one thing that I think a lot of Villa fans say and talk about is that we are quite slow, quite passive. We're not playing it quick enough, because then on a stark contrast, you'll have a second half where we can just waltz through and blitz teams. So I've got two sets of clips of Aston Villa's build-up, and I'm going to highlight a few things, and then I'd like you, Ryan, to sort of like give me like your insight onto these as well. And so we're going to kick it off. We're going to start with a throw-in from Matty Cash that has gone to Ezri Konsa. So we've got the ball that's gone into Konsa. We can see Onana, and we can see Kamara as well. And what a lot of teams do is they put two players in front of our pivot to stop the ball that's going into those, which in turn means that players like Konsa, Mings will have more time on the ball. So we then move it on slightly, and we can see that Konsa's now got the ball. So here we've got Ezri Konsa with the ball. We can see that Kamara is being shut out a little bit, but I do believe a pass could go into Kamara. And we can see that Onana is free as well. Now, we know that Villa are really good at playing through teams. A lot of teams are trying to stop these two players getting the ball, because what they do, they turn on transit, like we saw against Tielemans goal. That's a classic textbook of the areas that we're trying to get into. So you can see here that there is passes on into central midfield, but what we do is we keep bringing it forward. Again, Onana wants the ball. We go to Tyrone Mings, and Tyrone Mings picks and collects the ball. Now, for me, there was opportunities for us to go into central midfield there, but we didn't. We waited, and now we've allowed Mings to come and carry on with the ball. And I know Mings and the Villa team are going to start to get set in their shape, but I think there's opportunities in this one, for example, where we could have got the ball into midfielders, and then they could have got their head up. So what are your thoughts on the one that I've just showed you?
Yeah, I think tempo is the main thing. I think we've looked tactically predictable in them halves that you talked about. And I include Brighton in that game as well. So, the last 3 home games, and it feels like teams now have set up differently. On them images there, Luke, look how high we are, and how in a low block West Ham are, for example, there. Whereas you think back to the Manchester City game and Bayern Munich and other teams that have come to Villa Park, we've really started our build-up from deep. I'm talking like 6-yard box, and we're drawing teams on so we can play spacious football, big gaps, open up teams. And I feel like teams have sort of kind of cottoned onto that now, and they're sitting in a low to mid block and saying, look, well, come and break us down. And I feel like it's just too laboured, isn't it? It's just too laboured, and there's no penetration to it. There's no. I was watching it on Friday night, and I was like, what are we actually trying to do here? Like, Konsa and Mings have got the ball, and it's 2, 3, 4, 5 touches at times. I'm thinking, okay, all right, are we trying to draw a trigger? Is someone going to move, and then all of a sudden, bang, 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 it clicks, and we play our direct balls, but no one's moving. No, it's so static and dull. And I must admit, the last three games, the last three first halves have been boring. Like that's heavy. That's a heavy word when you're watching football. Boring, but they have been boring. And it's not until we kind of get more options on in the form of substitutions, the likes of Ramsey, Wendy, Matson, they've all come on and made impacts, and we start zipping the ball around. And I feel like we look more comfortable zipping the ball around, don't we? Like, playing pace, playing on the edge. But the first halves have been very worrying the last few games. And what is it? What is it? And I'm probably thinking we're missing Pau. His ability to play the line breakers. Look, Mings is not bad on the ball. He's quite comfortable on the ball as well. But Pau's just got that, that little craft and that creativity. And then the last three games, Tielemans has played in the 10, hasn't he? And I feel like you're missing him down there. Look at that goal. It was Rodgers' goal, wasn't it? You rewind that, and where did it start? It was Tielemans back in the number 6 role, picking up the ball, playing that line breaking move to an attacking option that was Buendia. And I feel like the start of the last three games, we haven't had them options and the key personnel in the right position.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. Pau is a massive miss, and I'm going to share another scenario now. And this one highlights areas where the ball should be going into. So again, we're on the same sort of setup. We've got Ezri Konsa who's on the ball, and we can see that Tyrone Mings is free as well. So Konsa is bringing the ball forward. Again, there could be a little pass into here. There could be a little layoff, etc. We keep bringing it forward, and we can see that now we've got into this structure where Mings is high on that left-hand side. But what you've got to notice here is where we miss Pau. Where we miss Pau is because look at what we've got here. We've got two players that are in behind the West Ham midfield. You want to find those two players, because if you find those two players who then start fronting up a back four, and then you've got Watkins that can run on as well, that ball has got to find these two players. We move it on a little bit further, and we can see that the ball's now going to go over to this side. But again, we've still got these players that are in behind the Man City midfield. And now this is the pass. This pass has to go into here. It's got to go to feet, because he can turn and he can front them up and he can drive forward. But it could also go into that area there. So we've got opportunities to work the ball quickly and find certain players. But in this scenario, what ends up happening is that, again, we've still got Rodgers that's on. We've still got players that are in behind that West Ham midfield again. So we've got 5 players now. This is Villa's structure in that sort of 3-2-5. We've got players that are making runs, but what we do is we look for an absolute worldy pass to Yuri Tielemans. We lose possession. So I think it's about decision making and finding the right players, because there are players that are in the sort of like the correct position to be receiving the ball. And I think,
Luke, just go back to the last one.
Okay, this one.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that 5. Look at the set. Look at their body shape. They're on the move, aren't they?
Yeah,
That is what you're saying there. Really, you've worked it into that position. We're ready to go. We're set. Body shapes are ready. Let's go. But it's not.
Yeah.
It's another touch, and then one touch is enough to break down the whole move. Now, I don't know whether that's just a bit of confidence. Tyrone Mings has been out for so long, and he's only just coming back, and he's been lumped with this responsibility to he's the playmaker, and Mings is the playmaker in this scenario. And if it's not Tielemans or Pau in there, that's a massive responsibility. So as he gets up to speed game time, it might improve, but it's got to improve now if we're going to keep playing this style, because that there is perfect. Look, we got five in the attacking third, like shoulders down, heading towards goal, 5v5, and that is what we're trying to create. We're trying to create one-on-ones, win your duels. Like Morgan Rodgers done that interview with Lineker and Mika Richards, and he expanded on what Emery wants of him. Like the main thing he was saying, Emery wants is you to win your duels, win your one-on-ones, and this is what we're trying to create with every build-up. We're trying to create one-on-ones all over the pitch, and it's down to you to beat your man. You beat your man, we're in on goal, and when it's worked this season, it's been absolutely unreal. Like the Rodgers goal the other night, the goals against Manchester City, absolutely superb, and it's just finding that consistency now. When personnel change, can we still replicate the same style and build up with a different personnel? So
can I throw my 2 pence into this debate?
Come on then.
I think when Unai came in, Ryan rightly saying, a lot of our play started off in the 6-yard box. We started this pass left, pass right, and then teams were pressing really high, weren't they? They were pressing on the edge of our box. And then we were able to, because people weren't expecting it, and we totally changed the way we play, to play out, to play through the lines. And the likes of Pau were picking that ball into our double pivot and into our, attacking midfielders. And all of a sudden, we're on the half term, on the halfway line, with half of their team camped in our final third. So all of a sudden, you're breaking on them, and you can get up the pitch really quickly. So our attacking threat was so good and so quick. Now it feels like opposition, especially against West Ham, they're almost half pressing us. So it's not a high press, or it's like a mid or low, isn't it? And they half press us, but they're happy just to sit in shape without going a full hog, which is why we're seeing now the likes of Mings and Konsa, they're just standing on the ball. It's like they're waiting patiently to draw the opposition onto you. And it's almost becoming like a game of chicken, where we want them to come to us, so we're happy to wait and just play the ball around. They're not coming to us. They're saying, okay, you can stay there all day long. You're not going to hurt us there. So unless we press you, that triggers us into our movement and our balls through the middle, like Luke was pointing out there. Those little through balls into like whoever's feet, Tielemans, Rodgers, people on the half turn ready to turn. And it's like both teams, and it's a tactical thing that people have maybe worked out a little bit. We're 18 months into Unai now. And teams obviously are looking at how we play, thinking, if we just go and press them on the edge of the box, they'll just play through us. They've got the players to play through. So we'll press them up to a certain point, but don't worry too much about overcommitting on the press, because if they play through you and we've overcommitted, then they'll kill us on the turn with the likes of Rodgers and Ramsey and people that can run past us. So let's just sit and let's call their bluff. Okay, if you're good enough, you'll play through us. And then when games open up in the second half, when we've seen us be better, that's when we're at our best, because then we can go at teams, especially when we're in the lead. They've got no choice at that point, and they have to come at us. So that then means they've got to press us higher and try and nick the ball off us. So it's very interesting how our style of play has evolved and how opposition managers now look to combat how we play.
Yeah, and we have got there in the end. We got there in the end against West Ham, playing the way we play. Eventually, players get tired, and it opens up, and he made his subs really well. And I think that is what Emery's trying to do, isn't it? It's trying to keep the tactical mindset for 90 minutes. Do not get swayed by the momentum of the opposition, the crowd noises and stuff. That's what he's trying to instill us to be tactically fixed on for 90 minutes and not let exterior things happening in the game derail that. And that is what we're trying to embed this season, aren't we? And it's hurt us. It hurt us against Nottingham Forest. It's hurt us time and time again. But it's something that I believe that Emery fully believes in, because it's repetitive. We keep doing it and doing it and doing it, don't we? And hopefully the end game is we'll be better for it.
Yeah, and I think we are, we're sort of on our journey with Emery still, aren't we? He did an interview last week sort of saying, I'm devoting my life here. I'm spending all my time here and I want to be here for a long time. And that was absolutely amazing to hear as a Villa fan. And I think we can all see that we've got a style of play. We've got a structure that we work towards. And I think it's about fine-tuning it. And I do think it is good that we can have these conversations, because we can all see the areas within our play that sort of slightly need to improve. And I think that's because we've all got a really good understanding of how we play. And I think that's a testament to Emery's team and how we watch it. And I think, it does show that there is, a big importance on that left-sided centre-back to be that player that can find that pass basically, because like Justin's saying, teams are sitting off us, and we are having time on the ball. So we've just got to make sure that we really utilize it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to predict the Villa lineup against Everton. So I've kind of put an Everton lineup in here, and I'm going to let Justin kick it off then with your back five. So is Martinez back? And then what's your back four for this game?
Was he just rested? Do we know that now for the game?
I think he had a small injury concern. So
Okay.
I'd
Let's just
imagine
say that he was. Yeah, let's just say he was left out for precautionary measures. So yeah, he's back. He's back for me. Yeah, if he's fit, he plays. We know that. There's not really a question mark there, is there? Oh God. Yeah, Cash, Konsa, Mings pretty much pick itself. That back three at the moment with Powell injury and Carlos question marks over him. Now the big one is obviously Luca Dean. I think Luca Dean probably does come back in, if I'm honest, because we've got 4 games in a week, haven't we?
We have
3 games in a week now. 3, league game, Arsenal away, then that Champions League game. So yeah, Luca Dean comes back in for me.
Okay, so how we will do this? There are 3 of us, so I'll give Ryan I'll give Ryan's opportunity to share his back 5, and then if there's a tie, then I get the decider. Okay, should we all agree to do that? Yeah,
happy with that.
Okay, Ryan, what's your back 4?
This is really getting into the mind of Emery, isn't it? Because this is only the selection dilemma for the back 5. I think Luca Dean and Maatsen. My gut feeling is he will stick with Luca Dean. I think he trusts him all the big games. He's been a stalwart all season for Aston Villa, so I think he does. But Maatsen is certainly putting up a fight now. His attacking dimensions and outputs and link-ups is superb. His pace, energy. Like the Leicester game, he was game-changing, weren't he, with his energy and pace. And I really think there could be a link-up on that left-hand side with the likes of Ramsey and Rodgers and stuff like that. And he does work triangles, and you can start to build and move players around. And Luca Dean, different type of fullback, more solid, hugs the touchline, will cross from deep. Don't really see him hit the goal line anymore, do you? Or try and work areas to get himself into the penalty area. And I think away from home, with the atmosphere that will probably be generated with Moyes' return and the new manager bounce, etc., I think he sticks with Luca Dean.
Okay, my opinion is not needed on that one then, so we'll follow that one under you two have picked it.
Just for interest, what would you have gone with?
Not applicable, mate. Don't need to give me.
Come on, put it out there, son. Put it out there.
You two have got it covered, right? Double pivot then.
Backside full of splinters. Luke Robinson's got that sitting on that fence.
On that fence.
Right, Justin. Double pivot. Go.
Kamara and
Onana. Oh, Ryan.
Because I think it seems to be that Parker's got a knock, hasn't he? So he won't be risked so quickly.
Yeah.
I think
the other option really in that double pivot is Tielemans, and I don't really want to contradict myself by saying like we've missed Pau and Tielemans in them deeper positions, and then not put Tielemans back in that pivot.
I think it's gonna be a battle as well against Everton.
I think I would say Kamara and Onana. Actually, I'll backtrack on what I think, but as a starter. I think that is a solid base. I think Onana's come on, he's got his goal. Obviously, it's against his old club as well. And Kamara's just like world class, so he's going to play. I think as a solid base, yes, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Tielemans drop a bit deeper and try and get involved in the play and ultimately end the game in that pivot.
Yeah, I think it's massive for Onana to have one of them games where it's look what you could have still had. And
Look what you could have won.
yeah, like there was a lot of chat from Everton fans saying that they were happy to get Tim and let Onana go, etc. And I think I want to see him have a real solid performance, because I do think that Moyes will utilise Decore quite a lot, and I think that'll be like his sort of Souček player. So I think with his height and physicality of Decore, I think Onana could be a real good asset to have in this game, and I would probably back him to score as well. Right hand side,
and he knows all about Everton as well, doesn't he? It's good having that insight.
Yeah.
And I'd just love him to just have a really good game. So do we all agree that it's going to be Bailey on the right? Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Okay, Justin.
No.
It's a solid no, that was, wasn't it?
Oh my God!
Right. I've wrote my team down. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
Go on then. Who's on the right?
Well, the three in behind the striker, and we'll come on to the striker in a minute. Tielemans, Rodgers, and Ramsey, and put them wherever you want.
Okay.
But they're the three in behind for me.
Okay.
I think Ramsey's.
So you're saying Rodgers on the right?
Potentially finish there against West Ham. I think he's got the ability to play all across that middle, off behind the striker. I think Emery likes a fluid system in behind. I think having a player that can roam is good. I think have got all good enough brains in them to know when they've got to sit and got to do some work for the team, and also when they can break. So yes, that's. Given our current problems with injuries and suspensions and bits and bobs going on, we've got to make the best of what we got. And I think with the greatest will in the world to Bailey, if Ramsey's looking sharp, I think, I don't think he'll play the 90, but I think it could be time to throw him in.
See, I kind of feel like Bailey's definitely going to be on the right. Ryan, what are you thinking?
Yeah, we haven't seen Rodgers has either been 10 or on the left, hasn't he? We've not really seen him start from the right hand side. I think Bailey gives us that balance a bit more. I think I'd say Bailey on the right hand side. Yeah.
So then we'll go to the left hand side. Then we'll go to the left hand side. Just give me the name, and then we can get into the front line. So, left-hand side, Justin. Left-hand side, Ryan.
I think I'd go with Rodgers. I think.
Ooh, okay.
I think Rodgers.
So that would mean, I imagine we're going Tielemans as one, yeah. And then we've got the dilemma of, is it Duran straight back in? Or is it Watkins? This would be a big call from Emery to bring Duran straight back in.
We're going around the table.
Yeah, so just
is this like the traitors? We've got to write down on our board. Should we write down on our board? Here we go. We like the traitors. Right.
One word, Justin, Duran or Watkins?
I've had enough of him. This is time. Is
Duran.
that backwards? Duran. Right, can I just say my reasoning? My reasoning is...
Not yet.
No, okay.
Ryan.
I'm tempted to jump up on that fence if you like. Jump up on the fence.
Get off.
I'm going to get on the fence, mate. I'm going to get on the fence.
Have an opinion, man.
Right, what I'm thinking. Right, if I was Ollie Watkins, couple of assists, a goal. I feel... Oh, man. I'd feel that would be a kick in the balls to get straight away.
It's not dropped.
I understand that, but no, I think Watkins plays. I think, and Duran starts off the bench.
Yeah, I agree. But why would you go with Duran then, Justin?
Only because it's a squad game. He's had 3 games out. He's very, very fresh. We've got a big game against Arsenal, big game against Monaco coming up within 6-7 days. I don't think it's ever told to them that it's not dropped and left out. It's like, right, okay, you've done well for us. He has done pretty well for us since Duran's been out, to be fair to him. He's had He's known he's played these 3 games. So I'll just say, have a step out. I think you're probably right. If I'm honest, I think Watkins probably does start. Me personally, I think I'd just throw, because what you're going to do, you're going to play. I think the easier game to slip Duran in for a game is Everton. I think I would prefer Watkins against Arsenal on that big pitch. So I know they don't tend to look games ahead, but we've got 2 very good strikers, and it's nice having them both back in the squad. That's what I'll say.
I think if you add Matson to that bottom right corner, Luke, where you've got Duran and Ramsey, that options there is superb, isn't it? Like that's like, I feel that the team we've picked here, that's on paper, is a solid team to start a game, and that there is completely game changing. Like the pace of a Matson and a Ramsey link up, Duran, like.
I mean, it could look like this though, couldn't it?
It could.
Yeah,
easily.
100%.
Easily.
Can I throw another player into the mix that's played himself into my reckoning? I don't think he's going to start, but I think Plate's going to start having more of an impact off the bench. Buendia.
Yeah, that's a good shout as well.
I think Emi Buendia, he's the forgotten man in this squad. He's almost every Villa fan is almost resigned for him to either leave now or the summer. And that may very well happen. I'm not saying he's got a huge future and he's going to play loads of games for the end of the season, but he looked sharp, he looked hungry, when we scored that goal, he was absolutely bouncing around that 6-yard box for joy when we scored.
He really created that goal because his
movement,
he was
excellent.
His movement enabled Tielemans to do it. Tielemans to play that ball. He was the link up. Watkins is gone. The rest is
in that hole, in that 10. We know how good Buendia can be. We know what positions he picks up. He's got a lovely turn. He's got a lovely little through ball. His awareness is great. Fully fit and firing Buendia. He's an asset, a huge asset, and I hope he's used a bit more. I do. I hope he's given his chance to add something to us.
I agree. So, Goodison Park, new manager David Moyes, Aston Villa on the back of 5 away losses in a row. Ryan, what have we got to see on Wednesday? Apart from a lot, we don't want to see a loss, but what have we really got to do?
Not conceding the first 15 minutes, that would help. Giving
off
teams
off their first shot.
Off their first shot, off our first mistake, off a slip, off whatever, anything. Everything just seems to go against us in that first 15 minutes. We just get punished, like punished FC. We are like I seen a stat the other day, like we've made
that's my line.
We made like 18 errors leading to a shot, and it was something like 15 goals from errors leading. We just get brutally punished. It was like when we come back in the Premier League the first time under Dean Smith. It was similar to that. Like it was happening all the time. So we need to be on it and focus. We can't continually be giving teams head starts, but I feel like it will benefit us. This new major banks, this momentum that Everton are going to come out in the game with, because I feel like they'll come on to us. They'll be G'd up by the crowd. I'm sure the atmosphere at the start of the game will be big, and they're going to come at us, and that just might suit us. It might just suit us, and we hit them. But it's going to be a big opening 15 minutes, and I think if we can negotiate that, then I think we can settle down and really put our game on them.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll finish off then about the FA Cup draw. I've got to say, and I know Justin, he absolutely loves the FA Cup, does Justin. But I think this round of fixtures in this year's FA Cup has showed everybody again how good the FA Cup is. I watched Tamworth against Spurs, and I just thought it was absolutely fantastic. It started off with the player putting the net back on, which was just I was on the shoulders of a player, and you're like, God, that's like Sunday League stuff, putting your nets back up. And then It was just such a great performance from Tamworth. They could have won it. It was absolutely brilliant, I thought. And yeah, it was just really, really good. You could see that, the fans were giving them stick, the Spurs bench, etc. And yeah, that kid on that left-hand side for Tamworth absolutely ripped Pedro Porro. He was so good. And, even what we did, I thought it was brilliant. And even the away fans in the top of the Doug Ellis giving it stick, and it's just been a really good round of fixtures. And we've had our new draw, and we've got Spurs at home. So we'll go with you, Justin, because I know your middle name may as well be FA Cup. But how are you feeling about it? Did you love it this weekend?
Yeah, I loved all of it, to be honest. It's the glory in it. I think it's something that's been lost. I put a tweet out earlier. It's totally been lost over the last 2 decades, how glorious this competition is. And there was a time when the FA Cup was the most important competition in England to win. Dedicated a whole day to the final, and every round you just couldn't wait. Third round draw, I can't wait for this. And then you get further down the line, and non-league teams playing against Premier League top division teams, and upsets, and watching Spurs come out of that tiny little sort of room to getting changed in. It was just amazing, and seeing the fans and the faces. I go to loads of non-league football, and you can't beat it. It's like going back in time, and the work and the dedication that these clubs and a lot of fans and supporters put into these clubs. They deserve their day in the sun, to be honest. And the FA Cup deserves to rightly be put back where it belongs, as one of the premier competitions in this country. And for me, I've said it numerous times, winning this competition is bigger than qualifying for Europe. I'm gonna say it right now. It is. We will remember winning the FA Cup for the rest of our lives. Are you going to remember finishing 6th in 30 years' time? No. You'll remember your day out of Wembley when we lifted that famous trophy there, for God's sake. So, yeah, long may it continue. Yes, we never seem to get any decent draws, but I'd always just take a home draw. That's first and foremost. Get a home draw, and then anything else after that is a bonus. So, yes, it's a Premier League team at home, but if it was Spurs coming up in the league, yes, we haven't had a great run against them, but we fancy us against anyone at home. So, I'm happy to take them on. Absolutely take them on.
I kind of feel for Tamworth today, because obviously the replays have been sacked off, haven't they? And
yeah,
I kind of get why. But like for Tamworth today, you've done 90 minutes, 0-0. You had a chance then to go to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and that's like huge, and that would probably pay the wages of that club for the rest of the season, right? And now that game, it's a defeat, isn't it? It's a loss where if it would have been a draw, you would have got a draw against Tottenham and got a replay, and that romance is sort of like diluted a little bit with the replays going. Like I get it, because if Villa and West Ham would have drew, that's like the worst thing I could have thought of. Oh God, got to go West Ham, and it's a replay, and we got this fixture and this fixture. But that romantic side there for Tamworth and that Tottenham result it's a pity, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and I kind of feel like they should have just go straight to penalties as well. That extra time, it's not needed, is it?
Yeah.
Because I kind of feel like if you're sort of saying, right, we're not having the replays, I guess it's because of playing a lot of football, etc. It's an extra game in a congested fixture list. Why are you making them do another half hour? Like,
absolutely
straight to pens.
And don't forget, an extra half an hour only benefits the more sort of the higher up team. So at Tottenham, that professional club, they're all fit as anything. The longer a game goes on, you generally see a non-league team fall away at the end, because they just can't keep up the pace for a full 90 minutes. So an extra 30, and which is what happened with them, isn't it? Tamworth should have nicked it at the end, but that last 10, 15 minutes of the second half extra time, they just fell apart, didn't they? So, yeah, if you're not going to have replays, just get rid of extra time.
Yeah. And the format's the format's working okay in the Carabao Cup, because that's what happens in there, and it's straight to pens. Yeah.
And it gives the team something to hold on to. If you're in the 80th minute, you're thinking, 10 more minutes, lads, we've got penalties here, we've got a real chance of knocking Tottenham out. But then they're thinking, 10 more minutes, we've got to go through another half an hour before we can try and get to penalties. So.
Yeah, and then they bring Son and Kulusevski on in extra time. May as well pack up at that point. So yeah, so hopefully you've all enjoyed the episode. Make sure you are subscribing, smash the likes, comment your thoughts as well. So we'll go around, we'll do score predictions. We haven't done them for a while. I'll kick it off. I think we're gonna win this, and I think we're gonna win 3-1. Ryan, what are you going with?
Yeah, I'll be there. So I wanna sign off. I want to sign off on Goodison Park with a win. I've been there quite a lot. I love that stadium. It's going to be a shame to see it go, but we're going to sign off with a win, and it's going to be simple 1-0. That'll do, mate. 1-0.
Oh, 1-0. Love it, right? Justin.
Yeah, just got to keep them quiet first 20. If we can do that, dampen the atmosphere down. I think our quality is there, and I think we'll win the game. Out the two of your predictions, I'm going with Luke's. I'm not going with Ryan's because I ain't doing 1-0. Sitting there 10 minutes to go thinking, oh, God.
Right. Love it. So next up, we'll have opposition preview. So cheers, everyone, for watching. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.